Hello everyone, Jak Syn here on behalf of Fiend.com and Future Daze, and today is another exciting episode of Artist Interviews. Today, I am sitting with Frida and Fredrik of KITKA. How are you two doing today?
We're good,
Hey,
good.
man.
Hello.
All good.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. It's a nice, beautiful day outside here. The weather is nice, and that is a plus.
Oh yeah, here too. It's been really nice out today. Really nice.
That's so good to hear. That's so good to hear. Is it kind of warm?
It's like both sunny and warm because we've had kind of bad weather, like a lot of rain and not very warm. So we're happy today that we have the sun.
It's so great to hear. And you know what? Right now, during everything that's happening in the world, it's all about those little things like the nice weather, just stepping outside into the sun and letting it hit your body. That right there, those little things are what are important right now.
Yeah, I'm like talking to people like you, for instance, like just meeting different people, I would say.
Yeah.
Talking to other people than the people in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly, right there. Those little connections that we make with people, I think right now are very, very important because right now with everything happening too, it's like we kind of get lost in our own selves a lot of the time. And it's important that we reach out to other people and build kind of connections with other people because that's what we are. We're human beings. We like to connect with others, and that's what makes us better as people, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I totally agree. And like a couple of weeks ago, I was having like a cold, and I thought it was like, the coronavirus. So it wasn't, but I was totally isolated for like a long period of time, and I was going crazy. So I really appreciate like this and making connections, and it's so important right now. It really is.
Well, I'm so glad it wasn't that. I'm so glad that it wasn't that. And you're right. Like if you had to be in isolation for 2 weeks, I mean, yes, that would, for a lot of people out there, it does take a toll on the mind. But I think what's really great is that we do have these little connections where we can kind of connect with people through the internet and social media and stuff like that, where we can still have that connection with everybody. So today we're going to ask you guys a couple of questions and see where it goes from here. Are you ready to get into it?
Cool.
Ready.
Yeah.
All right. What are 3 of your most memorable moments from your musical career together?
I would say one of them is a very basic moment, but it's the moment when we formed the band, when we started the journey of like what is KITKA and just realizing we're in a band together. That was like I will never forget that moment when we like the first rehearsal and first coming up with a band name, and that's an important period in a band's life. And I still cherish that as like a, as much as the best live show we ever did or the best hit song we ever had. Forming the band was like a big thing.
Yeah.
That I still kind of like get some kicks on from.
I agree, and this was in 2017, right? And because I think forming the band for one, and then because Fredrik wrote to me and he was like, I want to have a band with you and let's go to Japan. Like those were the first things that he wrote to me on Messenger. And I was like, okay, let's do it. So it wasn't just like, I want to form a band, let's rehearse. It was like, let's form a band, let's go to Japan, let's do this. Like, and
She said yes.
I said yes immediately because I was like, he's crazy, but I'm crazy too. So yeah, this could work. And so that was a really special start to like form a band. Yeah. I don't know. So I will always remember that.
And then following year being like, because we didn't go public with the band or anything. So from starting the band, we had a year to fulfill the dream of like, we're gonna do our first show in Japan.
Yeah.
So during that year, we booked the shows, took the photos and everything, and then we went public with the band. And that was also like a fun moment of like, here's the band, here's what we're gonna do, and this is how we sound, and this is how it look like.
Mm-hmm.
And so that whole period was like that. I think that period set like the tone for what this band is all about. Beyond just coming up with crazy ideas that we follow, but like we set the goal for something and then we really work for it.
Yeah, so like starting the band, going to Japan in 2018, that's one thing. Oh my God, there are so many things. Like, okay, I have one memory. This is not a fun memory, but we were touring the US, the East Coast last year in May, and we had how many shows? 6 shows, I think we did. And I think we were on our like 3rd or 4th show, and we were both like really tired, and we were going to the next show. What town was it? I'm going to talk about the bass.
Boston.
Yeah, we were playing in Boston. So we were traveling there in the car with our friend that was driving us. And we were kind of in a hurry to like get to the place. So we were like making sure everything was there, like all the pedals and stuff. And then we just like the gas.
We've been driving for about an hour.
Yeah. And then like all of the sudden, Fredrik, because I'm sitting in the back seat, and Fredrik, like, he looks back at me and says, "You took the bass, right?" Because it was like Fredrik plays the bass, and it was my like responsibility to take the bass. And I didn't take it because I was so stressed and tired, and I didn't take it. And that's his only instrument to play with. And I was like, no. And I just, oh my God, it was such a moment. And then we had to explain to our friend, and it all got worked out. You like lend the bass from another like band that was also playing. But I'll never forget it, like first time in the United States, going to a show, and I forgot his instrument. Like,
and you know how it is, like as a musician to you know, it's your thing that you're grown accustomed to playing, and it's your sound, and it's even your look. So that was but our like Frida said, our tour manager for that tour, Kevin Grant, he just, you know, pull out his phone and solve the problem in less than a minute. So it was fun, but at the time it was a bit stressful.
We joked a lot about it, like after that, but you
brought the bass, right?
Yeah. So that was one memory I'll never forget. And the third one, do you have a third?
This right here.
Yeah, this is kind of iconic. Yeah. I'm loving this.
Yeah.
But also I think we have to mention like going to Japan, just like traveling to Japan. It was
the first, playing the first show on that tour was the very first show in our band's history.
Yeah.
So even the sound check, I remember looking over to you like, can I cuss? Or can I, like, damn, our music is, you know, coming through the PA. So the sound check itself was as memorable as the whole tour.
Yeah, it was.
Which was just an amazing thing to do. But playing the first show in Japan was like...
Yeah, and they were so like polite, and you know, the culture is so polite, and they were so like, I don't know, nice to us, and like the technicians were so like good.
Yeah.
And we almost couldn't speak to each other because some of them didn't know English, so we had to like sign language our way through, but it was like, it was so smooth in some way, and it was just such a memorable moment.
Well, those are some pretty awesome moments right there. I mean, starting together, like you guys is like, hey, you guys coming together and going, hey, I want to go to Japan and play a show. I mean, if somebody told me that at the very beginning and says, hey, I want to go to Japan and play together, I'd be like, what is happening right now, right? But then you kind of go, then let it sink in and go, wow, I'm going to go to Japan. I'm going to play a show in Japan. I'm going to play like this music in Japan. That's amazing. Like being able to do that. I mean, I guess the way it is like you just have to aim high. You know what I mean? As a musician or as an artist, as a creative person, you just have to aim high. You know, you have to just kind of go, I'm just going to go for that dream. I'm going to grab it and I'm going to make it a reality. And then being able to do that, I'm sure, you know, you were just having these moments where you're kind of going like, I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe I'm a part of this. I can't believe I'm here in this area. So it's just great to see that you guys just said, you know, hey, we're just going to go ahead and we're just going to go to Japan and do this and then make it public. So you guys check that dream off the list as the very top one. That's great.
Well, the funny thing is like, a lot of people say when you say that you played in Japan as well, they say like, oh, you're so lucky to have been playing in Japan. Well, yeah, it was luck, but it was also 99% like grit and, you know, working really hard on those phone calls, emailing 200-300 venues, and, you know, speaking on the phone with Google Translate, just try to communicate with people. So I think, and we both like that as well. We're not quitters. So doing that tour after that amount of work really like paid off in a good way.
It was a lot of work, but the work was also fun. Like, because I think we both like this, like struggle of, you know, that sort of thing. So yeah, it was cool.
Well, you know, if there's no struggle involved, then it's not really fun. There needs to be some type of struggle here. I mean, that's just the career of an artist, you know, struggling. You know, it's like contacting people, contacting venues, contacting promoters. It's like squeaky wheel gets the grease. As long as you continue to keep that connection open, that communication open, you will break down doors, you will break down barriers, and you will get to where you want to be. So that everybody out there, it's like, just because you may hear no at one area, or I'll think about it at someplace else, don't give up on that. Keep pushing, keep making it happen. Keep breaking down those walls, because you will get where you need to be. And, you know, another member that you guys are talking about is when you were touring the East Coast, forgetting the bass. Now, I mean, I try to make sure that I don't forget things at venues. I try to make sure of that. But sometimes I do. Sometimes I do forget things. It's usually Evie who's like, did you remember to get this? Did you remember to get that? Can we check the checklist again? And there have been some times where I've forgotten some power chords, and we'll get to the next thing and go, oh my God, we don't have the power chord. We need to borrow a power chord, or else we can't power these synthesizers. Oh no. It's these little things that when you're on tour, you get wrapped up in everything going on, and how great each show is, and how unique every show is. And then you also get wrapped up in, I guess, the fatigue, like being tired from going to one place to another. It's like, it's always that thing where you like drive, set up, play the show, break down, drive, set up, play the show, and try to sleep in between all of that. So when you're on that schedule, sometimes it's hard to remember everything, and until you actually get to the venue and you kind of go, oh my God, I forgot this. This is going to be the end of the world. But no, quick solutions.
Yeah, but I mean, I could, because I've forgotten like power chords and stuff in the past too, but a whole instrument, that's like a record even for me. But yeah, I'm glad we made it to work anyways. So fingers crossed it never happens again.
Fingers crossed. But hey, it wouldn't be a show unless, or I guess you could say it wouldn't be a tour unless we forget something along the way. What would you say is your favorite release that you worked on?
Well, maybe not the favorite song, but I remember the process of writing Him, a song. Or, well, I should say Frida is the main songwriter in the band. She basically writes everything, and I come in more as I wouldn't say producer, but like a arranger or whatever.
Yeah, I usually begin writing the song, I would say, and then you come in a bit later, and then we work together, like making the end product. Yeah.
And that song I mentioned, Him, from our debut album K. We started working. Well, she started working with that song prior to me leaving for vacation for 1 week. I went to Tenerife, which is like a small island just west of Africa. So we were very far apart. I was walking on the beach, and she was sending me files to listen to, and I would call her, and we would work on that song. And I just remember, like, one evening she sent something, and I reply, like, what, could you just like raise the BPM 5 inches, or what would you say, 5 nods? Yes. And maybe do that, which triggered her to write. I think you added something more to the song as well.
Oh, I did.
And just that whole process of us working together, even if I was walking on a beach and she was sitting at at her apartment was like.
Because him was in the beginning when I started like the project in Logic, it was kind of like a sad song. You know, I think we raised the BPM like quite a lot. It had everything, like all the sections it has
Yeah,
now.
it had the verse, the chorus,
it had everything, but it was like a lot of sweeping synths, and like it was a sad melody, and I had put some like singing on it too, but the singing was very like airy, and then you just said a couple of things and I totally changed it. And like that's just an example of how we can work together, like even if you're in like Africa and I'm in Sweden. So it's kind of cool that we came together like 50-50 on that, on him.
Which is really hard, because sometimes, you know, as a musician, you try to like, can you make this, if someone is mixing it, can you make this more blue? You know, you try to describe sounds with words that isn't sounds, or even sometimes adjectives, or so giving those directions to her, and she's just got it immediately, and
yeah, we were both like satisfied.
Yeah,
so
I will never forget that moment when listening back to that song, and that's one of my favorite songs to play live as well. So I think harking back to like how we like to work for live shows, how we worked on that song paid out so good, and so that's extra fun to play live as well. I think like it all connected for some reason. Like if you're having a bad day when you're working on a song, maybe that you stay in that feeling even if you're playing it live. Or, you know, I can never listen to that song because we wrote that in that house where something bad happened. So that song gives me great like.
Yeah, me too. I think that's my favorite like project or a song that we worked together on. And I think like the whole album K was also like pretty special, like as a whole, to be working on, because we were still like getting to know each other like instrumentally, or how do you say, you know, because I'm very like, you're very analog and I'm very like Logic and synths and you know, all that. So the process of also like learning to work together and make it work, it was very special.
It still is, because I come from like a hardcore post-punk background, playing bass like very distorted and you know, playing with my whole arm and not really relying on anything digital. All my previous bands has been, you know, drums, guitars, bass, rehearsing in a rehearsal space, you know. But this writing songs together with Frida is totally different things, and playing live. So I still play my bass and I still have my sound live, but incorporating that in this music, it's hard for me to like, if you send a song to me, like where do I see my style in this song? Because it's KITKA is like 50-50% her and 50 me. So every song is a I wouldn't say a battle, but every song is like
it's kind of a battle.
Puzzle because we're so different in our styles of backgrounds and music. She's like
super digital.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say super digital, but she's really good at, you know, that style of music, and I have never really listened to that style besides the you know, the major like Depeche Mode and whatever. So it's every song is a fun collaboration.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, you guys seem to work really well together. You know, the both of you. I mean, you can hear it in the album. I mean, you guys can hear it in your other releases too, your other singles that you guys put out. And going back to the album K, it's a, you know, like you were talking about, like trying to figure out how you both work together in that first album. It sounds like you guys really meshed really well together. That whole thing. It was, you were on an audio journey in that album. Like it's diverse in ways, but it's very fluid. It's very fluid. It's a very fluid album. Has a lot of great stuff on there. Like the song you were talking about, Him, great song, beautiful song. You guys are very dynamic with your sound. And that's one of the things that I think that speaks volumes to a lot of the people out there who love your music. I mean, I love it. I think it's great. And I think a lot of other people out there love it as well. does have that very dynamic sound, that very fluid sound, that very beautiful sound. Congratulations on you both finding each other and working together, because you guys have made some very beautiful music together.
Thank you so much. That's so nice to hear. And yeah, I'm happy too that he asked me to do this, because it's a lot of fun. And I mean, we're still learning how to work together and like evolve together. And I mean, on these last few Liquid, Claudia and Bones, our last singles, we have also like started to work with a drummer called Pablo Wilton that has been like he's like a session drummer, so he has put some like drums on those tracks. And I mean, in my world, that would have been, because I always program like all my drums in Logic, and I was like, no, let's do it all like digital in my world. And Fredrik was like, no, let's try this. And it was so awesome, and I was so energized by it. So like, we're still finding ways and exploring and working with different people, and like, yeah, it's such a process, and it's so much fun.
And that's what it's about for artists out there. It's about growing, you know, working together, growing, building together, going down that path of like that journey of learning more about your sound and evolving over the years. That's what it's about. It's you know, a lot of people, they can create music and kind of stay in one little area, and they're content with that, and that's fine, and it works for them. But then there are other people who decide, hey, I'm going to break out of this. This album is not going to sound like this album. This song is not going to sound like this song. I'm going to experiment, like you guys were doing, experimenting with live drums. And I know for you, Frida, you're kind of going like, you know, I want to program this stuff, but then, you know, Fredrik's like, listen, wait a minute, let's try this here really quick and see how this goes. And you realize, hey, I did something outside of my comfort zone, and it really worked out really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. So yeah, we're just gonna keep experimenting with stuff, I think.
It's fun being like, you can always say like, because since I come from that background with the analog hardcore, you know, styles, I can be in this genre, or in Frida genre, I can be more of a like she said, should we really have real drums on this? And I can be like, well, let's try it. And because sometimes you just lock into, I've been playing indie pop for years, and I know a lot of bands, you know, they limit themselves to, you can't incorporate, like I remember the one of the first songs we recorded, she had bass already on the track, and I recorded my bass, and I was like, I don't think I ever said that to you, but like, are you gonna leave that bass in? So it was two basses. It was my analog bass, and it was her programmed bass, which sounded awesome. But in my head, I couldn't like, can't be two basses. That's stoner metal. That's wrong, you know, in my world. But of course you can. So in most of the songs we have that now, and we now have drums on digital music as well. So I think it's fun to mess with this construct of, you know, like what should be allowed in certain types of genres.
Exactly, because there's no roadmap to it. There's no plan. There's no set thing. And as artists, it's our job to expand, break out of the mold, and try new things, because that's what art is. It's never following a plan. It's just whatever you feel whenever you feel it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
So true, so true.
What was the drive behind getting you into making music and performing together?
I would say like the drive for me to start this band was in a weird way, I wanted to start a band with Frida. I didn't want to start a band with her because of her music abilities or her background or whatever, because it's a weird way to phrase it, but like, I want to start a band with her as a person, because I knew what she had to give to a band. Like, I know her as we weren't super friends back then, but
no, we knew of each other, but we weren't like that close.
She sang on one of my previous band's songs, so we met, and you played a show with us, and so that was one of like the main reasons for me starting this. I didn't start a band, we started a band, but like reaching out to her. Like I want to start a band. I could play whatever style of music with her. I just wanted to play with her, and I think I knew what it would sound like because I've heard some of your music prior to this. But that's like one of the motivations for me.
Yeah, I think for me it was like when you asked me and you talked about Japan, and I was like, okay, he's crazy and I want to do this, and he's probably going to be crazy all the way. And I like that. And I like that, like, I don't know, it seems like we can make decisions so fast. Like,
yes,
you know, we can just like, okay, let's go to Japan. Yeah, okay, all right. And then 10 minutes later, we're working on it. And Fredrik is like me in that sense that we want things to go fast. And I noticed that very early on. So that drove me to like want to make more music and want to produce and want to, you know, travel and do things, because it all seemed so like possible, and it was. So yeah, I think that was a huge drive for me, like your personality and our similarities in that.
And that's a good thing right there. You know, both of you guys feeding off of each other's energy. That right there is what makes a beautiful match. I know when working together with working together with other artists, like sometimes you don't always really mesh well. Sometimes people get into arguments over certain things, or I don't like this, I don't like that. But I think that the people that you're working with and the people that you surround yourself with, if people have like-minded ideals and they believe together that if they work together, they can achieve great things, amazing things will happen, because the drive is there. The drive to do good, the drive to do more for your art. And you will really bleed for your music and really kind of put your blood, sweat, and tears in it together. And you guys will look over at each other and you'll just kind of know what you guys want, what you guys need to do. And that's so great that you both found each other. And it really has taken you to some amazing places. So,
yeah,
thanks.
Yeah, it's...
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm grateful.
What are you both looking forward to accomplishing the most moving forward?
Oh my God. I want to put out, because now with the situation in the world, we've been making like a lot of new music. So putting out like a new album would be like at least like a part of goal for me, because we have so much material and I think it's so good, so I really want like the world to hear it, kind of. And then of course to be able to tour again and like go places again, because I think that's our biggest strength, playing live. And that's what we truly love. You know, I truly love to produce and, you know, that thing also, but playing live is just such a passion for both of us. So that is like my two things, like putting out the album and like starting to tour again and getting out and meeting people. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, we had to cancel 2 tours now because of the situation, and that one of them being Japan. We're gonna do Japan in May, the tail end of May. So that is postponed.
Yeah, postponed.
You know, you just want to get going. Yeah,
you just want to get started again and like feel that you're doing something, because when you're just sitting inside it, you know, even if you're producing a lot, it just at some point it just feels kind of meaningless.
Yeah, those songs don't belong in a computer, you know.
No, exactly. And as I said, like our strength is to like get out there and get, you know, like, talk to people and play for them and like hang with them. So that's like, maybe it sounds like a small goal right now, like playing live, but it's a huge goal, I think, at least for me.
You know, I feel a lot in the same way that you both feel. I think, you know, when we kind of rewind here back to when everything started going haywire, you know, I guess you could say it started going crazy months and months and months ago, when people were fighting over toilet paper and everything like that, we literally had the rug pulled out from under us. You know, events just canceled or postponed or moved to another date. And, you know, I think a lot of people, a lot of artists out there, a lot of creative people were kind of left going, well, what's next? What do we do now? I remember I was sitting here and kind of going like, okay, everything that I was working on, everything that we had planned, postponed or canceled, whatever, what's going to be next? What is going to be next? Well, working on music, just like you guys are doing, you know, working on music, getting that going. And then I was like kind of going, okay, well now I want to start interviewing artists. I want to start doing this. I want to start kind of contributing to these artist interviews and kind of bringing people in and talking about their stories. So I think we as people have started to adapt creatively over time. Like you see that with a lot of people doing live streams online, a lot of artists like playing shows online to their fans and all over the world. That's another way that we've managed to adapt and things like that. I know we do a couple of live streams with our Nightwave and San Junipero events, and those kind of help people. I mean, it's not the same thing as being in a live setting, because when you're in a live setting, you know how it is. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's an experience that everybody can be a part of in that moment in time. And nothing else compares to that. Nothing else. But we try to emulate it as best as we can. So I feel how you guys are feeling. I want to get back out there and play some shows. I want to get back out there and DJ to people. I mean, I'm clamoring for that stuff. But it's good to see that you guys are staying productive during all of this and creating some music and really kind of writing your stuff. And I know what you mean, like it's not meant to be in the computer. It really isn't. It's meant to be heard all over the world. It's meant to be for them. But until that happens, which will be sooner rather than later, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys performing live. I would love to see you guys come over here to Los Angeles and do something out here, because that would be pretty amazing.
That would be amazing. Yes.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to that, like doing that. I think that is one of our, like, we want to travel to like the other coast in the US.
Yeah.
And we kind of had like started to plan for that, but then like we just chose to postpone everything. Like,
yeah, we never booked the show, it's like solid book a show, but we had plans for the Pacific Northwest and possibly even including the San Francisco, San Diego, LA.
But I have to also say, like, this, what you're doing now, like interviewing us, that's so great, because this is one way of connecting and for other people to like connect to us and you. And it's just like, I think as you're saying, we're really adapting, and I think you're doing it really well. And I'm so thankful for people like you for doing this. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you for those kind words. I really appreciate that. You know, having you guys on today, being able to talk about your guys' story and kind of share, you know, your personal thoughts and feelings. That's what this is all about. To everybody out there, these artist interviews are about the artists, about them getting their stories out and sharing their views and who they are creatively. That's what this is all about. So having you guys on the show to do this today, it just warms my heart that you guys took the time to share your stuff.
Oh,
of course.
Of course.
And you know what? When you guys come out here to play, like, and you guys, you know, tour the West Coast, like, I have a lot of people that I'm definitely going to get in contact with and be like, hey, listen, you guys need to go out and support these guys because they're making some amazing music. Get out there, support them. Everybody, you heard it here first. They want to do the Pacific Northwest. They want to do the West Coast, LA, San Diego, you know, Portland, you know, Seattle, all these great places. Get out there, support KITKA. Go to their shows, especially here on the West Coast, because you guys are going to be just floored with how awesome their sound is.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, no, I felt that.
Yeah, I really felt that. Oh, I'm so warm right now.
I know, it's getting hot in here. What positive message would you give your fans out there?
Well, I think right now, we know that this is not an easy time for anyone. But, and I know this is gonna sound like really cliche, but it's about to get better. Like, and if you're talking music wise, it's like, I think a lot of bands and artists are like us right now, like making music and really loading up for like, I don't know what, but it's gonna be huge. So I feel like when we come out of this, we're gonna be like so energized, and it's gonna be like, I don't even know, like, I feel like even talking about it, I feel like I'm going to give my all. And I think there's a lot of people feeling like that. So I know times are rough, but it's going to get better, and we're going to make it out of this. And when we do, we're going to be like lit. So that's my message, because that's what I'm feeling. So yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm sure if I have like a message for our fans, but like in general, just with this situation or in any point of life, if you're listening to this or viewing this and and you're in a band, or if you're a creative person, just like you're doing now, you wrote these questions and you reached out to people, and you're making the thing. Just make the thing. Even if you're a shitty band, like I sometimes I enjoy watching, you know, the bottom tier bands, the really like up and coming people, because they have like, it's okay if you don't want to make your music public, but if you're 55 years old and you've never had a band, start a band. Just make the thing, create it, and put it out there. I think that's one of my positive messages for people. Mm-hmm. Maybe not our fans, but as a musician to other musicians or people that think they're not musicians, or creative people in general. Just make the thing. And
yeah, I think maybe specifically for our fans, it's like, damn, we're working on so much stuff.
Yeah.
So like
we had so much lined up for 2020 that we haven't gone public with yet. So we're pushing that for.
Yeah, and everything is like, it's not canceled, it's just postponed. So like, as I said before, like, I don't know, 2021 is going to be like, I don't even know, like awesome. I hope, I'm really praying for it, like, but so I think that's the positive message.
And that right there, everybody, right there, wise words from KITKA, everybody, from Frida and Fredrik, right there. If you have something that you are working on, and you might not think it might be the best thing in the world, it doesn't matter. All you have to do is create it. Do what you want to do. Make it a reality. And that could be for anything, whether you're writing it or whether you're playing it. It doesn't matter. It's all about the creative journey. That's what it's about. And if that makes you feel good inside of your heart and inside of your soul, then do it because it feels right to you. And I know exactly like what you were saying, Frida. It will get better. It's getting better right now. Every single day we are pushing forward and we are changing things for the better. And that is what's important. To everybody out there, as we progress throughout each and every day, even though some days may feel more bleak than others, know that we are pushing forward. Know that we are making things happen, and know that the world is getting better. We have taken this time to reflect, this time of pausing, which is good, and I think everybody needed it, even though it's terrible what's happening, it still is every single day, you know, with everything that's been going on. But it's also important that we also have this time to kind of reflect and kind of realize for ourselves what's important and what we want to convey to the world. So whether it's making music, whether it's writing something, whether it's even doing these artist interviews like we're doing now, stay creative and keep making beautiful music. So thank you so much, KITKA, for taking the time to do this interview today. Thank you to everybody who took the time to tune in and watch us have this conversation. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe to our Fiend YouTube channel, as we have many more awesome artist interviews on the way, just like this one right here. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for your time. And I look forward to seeing you guys very, very, very soon.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. This was such a moment. So thank you very much.
Take care, man.
Take care.
Be safe. We want to meet you someday. We want to hang out.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah. When you guys can come here to LA, or I can go over there, we'll definitely. I'll definitely.
You're welcome.
The show. I'll definitely.
You're more than welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been a while since I've been overseas, so I'm raring to go overseas again, definitely. And to everybody out there, dream it, build it, and let it grow. Thank you so much. I love you guys.